excited to be here because I can give you some update regarding about the Microsoft 365. Before I start, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Terence Lee. I am the Partner Technology Architect in Microsoft Hong Kong, responsible for the partner readiness, especially in the Microsoft 365. This is my presentation agenda on today. Today, I will give you cover about the Microsoft 365 in terms of two aspects. One is productivity, and the second is the security. On the productivity part, I will much more focus on the Microsoft Teams. And then the second part will be the very powerful security capability from the Microsoft 365. Before I start about the Microsoft Teams, I will give you a quick recap about what Teams can provide to all of you, in case you don't aware of it, okay? The first, I will give you some kinds of the figures about right now how popularity of the Teams in the worldwide perspective. In this slide, you can see that right now in the world, more than 200,000 organizations has already adopted Microsoft Teams as their collaboration tools. And also one very, a phenomenal figure is talking about, on each day, right now talking about 20 million active users using Microsoft Teams for their daily operation. It is so exciting, encouraging, and very, indicate that, Microsoft Teams is very popular right now in the market. And then in terms of the popularity, and then what kinds of the capability that Microsoft Teams can provide. Now, let me give you a very quick recap. The first is talking about, the collaboration capability, including chat. Chat, that means the messaging, okay? And then the second is talking about meeting. You can, collaborate all the meeting in the single calendar, and then you can share with others, and then you create your own meeting in Microsoft Teams and also in the live event as well. And also one very important and powerful feature is talking about the call. Call, that means you can leverage Teams as the, like about the phone client, can help you to make about, the domestic call, international call, without paying an expensive, your corporate, the PABX expense, okay? And also, in terms of the collaboration, file sharing is really, really a very, a basic requirement for the end user. For the file, okay, you can upload whatever files, maybe Microsoft files or maybe non-Microsoft files, like about some kinds of the drawing, PDF file, whatever, okay, into the file share. And then to share with internally and also externally. So it means that you can leverage, the Microsoft Teams to very secure, share your information for both internal and external. Additionally, apart from the collaboration built-in capability, you can also further customize and also extend the features by writing some kinds of the application and put it into the Microsoft Teams. Actually, in Microsoft Teams, on the left-hand side, you can find that there is a store. The store already has a lot of applications that you can leverage. Apart from it, you can also build up your own application and then to put in a store and then to extend the Team capability. The benefit to the customer is that I don't need to open many different types of applications on my desktop. Okay, I can just open Teams application, and then it can integrate all the live or business application to me directly. Last but not the least, security is also very important. As I mentioned before, when we share about the file for both internal and external, one of the very important consideration for us is talking about the security. How can we control when I share the file, it is still in a secure way, okay? Because Teams is a member of the Office 365 component. All the Office 365 capability in terms of the security and the control will all adopt on the Microsoft Teams as well. So that it means if I share about a file to external, but the file include about some kinds of the PII data, let's say I have included a Hong Kong ID card number, or maybe even the credit card number. Because of the Office 365 control in place, I still cannot share this file to the external as well. Another common question that I come across almost every single day from both customer and partner is about how can I store about all the conversation. Comparing with other, the communication tools, okay, they do not have this kind of the capability. But from the corporate, I may need to, store all the, the communication in a single place. In case I need it, I can go to search it again, okay. With the 365 capability included, okay, Teams can also store all the information and then to let you search immediately in case you need it, okay. The next, I will talk about a little bit more detail about individual features, talking about the chat. Okay, now in the screen, you can see that the chat can be done on the PC side and also on the mobile side. Mobile side, that means I can use about my mobile client, like maybe on iOS platform or maybe on Android platform as well. On the PC side, I can use my PC, let's say Windows 10. And also, I'm not using Windows 10, I'm using Mac. Okay, there's no problem because whatever the platform you use, okay, we also have the Teams client for you to install. And then you can start the communication immediately. The communication can be one-to-one or one-to-many as well. And then in terms of just about to type in the text, we can make it more fun. You can also include like the GIF, the sticker, emoji icon as well. The second, talking about the video conference. Under the current the virus outbreak situation, most of us will work from home. Okay, and then we also have this kind of the video conference to connect with my boss, connect with my partner, to connect whoever you need. Okay, the Teams has already built in the high definition video capability. Okay, you can see right here, I can immediately start the video conference just by one click, and then I can see it from both different types of the platform, PC, mobile, whatever. Okay, and then we also provide some kinds of the AI features that I will cover later, like about the transcription, the translation, and so on and so forth. And also, as I mentioned, Teams is a member of the 365. Okay, so it is a highly integrated with all 365 components. Like for example, I want to include my meeting notes into the Teams. You can just plug in the OneNote, just one click, and then you can do. I want to to access my corporate website more efficiently. You can include it into your Teams as well. So that all different types of the 365 features, the workload, you can also integrate into the Microsoft Teams to make it more easy for the customer to access. Don't underestimate this kind of the capability, because when we try to talk to the customer, one of the feedback from the customer is that, okay, I'm very concerned about the training. The training means I need to teach the end customer on how to use it. But if you use this kind of the capability, the user just open Teams. Actually, all the applications that they use on every single day will already in place, no matter it is a Microsoft application or a LOB application. Talking about the extensibility, Teams is very powerful that you can integrate with different types of the your own database system. For example, if I have a ERP system, if I have a CRM system, you can also, through the programming integration capability, to integrate the Teams with your backend database, and then you retrieve the data immediately. Another a very powerful capability that I see from our partner, they already developed the application, is you can use Teams as a single collaboration tools to interface with another the collaboration kind. For example, in Hong Kong, very popular, we are using WhatsApp. Okay, in China, they may using WeChat. In Taiwan, they may using Line. Okay, but whatever the communication tools they use, you can use Teams as a single platform to communicate them together. So that means they may input some message from the WeChat, from the WhatsApp, or from the Line. You can still use Teams to reply them and even to share file with them as well. So you can see that Teams is very powerful in terms of the extensibility to increase about the functionality of it provide. And then talking about the calling, because I want to go on this part in a little more detail, because the calling you may think that, oh, you can use whatever communication client to make a call to the customer. Yes, but what I want to highlight on the Teams is that we don't need to interface with the customer on-premises PABX environment. All the call from Teams is through the internet. It is what we call the SIP, the SIP call. Okay. Actually, in Microsoft worldwide, most of us don't have the dead phone anymore. Instead, we will use the Teams as a daily, the communication client, not just only from the messaging, but also from the calling as well. Because through the SIP protocol, through the SIP capability, I can use Teams to make domestic call and international call, and this call is all through the internet. What is the benefit in terms of the cost? Okay, it will be much cheaper than I use the traditional PABX system. If you go back to your office, you can check your maybe a finance department, your HR department to check about, how much, desk phone per unit cost, okay? The total cost, I can guarantee you, is much expensive than using the Teams call. That's why we see that most of the customer on the enterprise side, on the corporate side, or even maybe on the SMB side, they already start to leverage the Teams as the calling client for themselves. And also, if you still want to have some kinds of the desk phone, just like about the traditional phone on your side, we also work with different partners, okay? They will also provide, the conferencing device, including the desk phone and also some kinds of the very powerful conferencing device as well. And last part for the recap is talking about the AI features. Some of you may be already aware of this part, but just give me a few seconds to cover this. In terms of the, the communication, in the Teams messaging, we also have the translation capability to build in and then to help you to translate the message. For example, if I communicate with a friends or with my colleagues, he is maybe in Japan, he typed Japanese, I don't understand Japan. But in Teams, with the translation capability, I can immediately translate the Japanese into the language that I am aware. For example, maybe in English, maybe in Chinese, whatever. And also, you can also have your the transcription in your meeting, and also, the mobile client will be the same as like about when I use about on the desktop client as well. And this part, the background blur, I think it is very interesting and very useful in the Hong Kong scenario, because I think, the Hong Kong is very small, and when we have, the work from home scenario, I just have a video call with my boss, but my home is too small. I don't want, my background will be visible to my boss, okay? I can use the background blur capability to blur my background so that the video conference will just focus on myself, just like on this slide, okay? Now, it is time to talk about the new capability in Teams, okay? With all those kinds of the existing exciting capability, what kind of the new features will be included in Teams? Let's have a look. This slide is talking about private channel. If you're familiar with Teams, when you create a Teams, we can set the Teams as a public or private. But right now, we also add the capability in the channel as well. So it means that when I create a channel, you can see that I can set the channel as secure. That means I can only invite the member, they can join it after create, and then you can see the channel will have a lock right here. Okay? And then also, I can also pin the channel. Pin the channel, that means I frequently access this channel. But in Teams, I need to go back into the Teams and then click, the channel and then select the particular one that I will access. But right now, you can just like put as a favorite, and then you can immediately go to the Teams and then jump in the channel directly. Just like this one. I click here and then pin it, and then it will go to my favorites. Okay, when I access it and then go to access it immediately without a further click. And then I also integrate with the Outlook client. I think it is very important because when I visit the customer, most of the customer, actually, they will open the email client and then the Teams together. But there's no any integration between two of them at this moment. But I can tell you, in Outlook and Teams, right now we are working together and then to make them, they can integrate tightly. In Outlook, in the future, you can see there will be a button right here. It is called Share to Teams. When I receive a message, I want to put it into the Teams. In the past, I need to copy all the content and then to paste it into the Teams. But in future, after you add the add-on Share to Teams in Outlook, and then I can just simply click the button and then to select the channel, and then all the message will go to the Teams directly without further copy and paste. The next, I think, is very interesting. Before, remember, I'm talking about the background blur. I can blur the background when I have a video conference with my boss, with whoever. Okay, but in future, we can also allow you to put some custom image as a background, so that even though when I work from home, if let's say this is my the company office, I can take an image first, And then in the past, when I have a meeting, I can change my background into the company, the background. So that it seems to be I'm still working in the company, okay, and then I can, whatever you like as the background, you can customize and then put it into the meeting, okay. It allows, the flexibility for the customer to choose what kind of the background they want. And also the whiteboard. What does it mean of whiteboard? Whiteboard is about the sharing. During the meeting, when we have some idea, we may like to write something on the flip chart, just like in the past when we have a face-to-face meeting, right? But in the online meeting, we also have the features called whiteboard. Whiteboard is add-on tools. When you have a meeting, when you have some kinds of the idea that you want to express with the other participant, you can call it, and then through the pen or the mouse, and then you can write something and then draw into the whiteboard directly. And also, you can also have the live caption. Live caption, that means it can capture my text and then to translate it. And then right now it is for the English, but we will make it available for the other language very soon. And then we also work with the third-party hardware vendor to really enhance the hardware support of the Microsoft Teams. I just mentioned about, we have some kinds of the phone conferencing device, and then to support, the Teams calling and then the meeting capability. And also the upcoming, we also have others, the new hardware by the third-party vendor, like about the Poly, Yelling, and then they will also have some hardware device to further enhance the meeting conference experience for the customer. It is not just all about, the Microsoft Teams, the what's new. Because of the limited time, I cannot cover all of them. Right now, I have listed out some kinds of the resource in here. For all those, the participant, okay, if you want to know more, actually, you can go here to click, for example, the Teams blog. Teams blog actually will have all the, the information related with the Microsoft Teams through our, the corporate development team, our program manager, the product manager. They will share some kinds of the new features in here. For example, if you want to know more the new features in the Microsoft Teams, the first one, Teams blog, is the place that you need to visit. And the second, Microsoft Teams Learn Training. Most of the, the partner and customer always ask us about, I want to have some kinds of the training to learn more about the Microsoft Teams. Go here, you can get more. How about very end user focus? The Microsoft Teams training basically can be also for the administrator, but it is a little bit more, for the technical, particular for some kinds of the person they want to learn more deep about, the Microsoft Teams technical. You can go for the second one. But for the third one, end user training, it is much more end user focus. Okay, right now I want to deploy the Microsoft Teams for my company. I want to have the end user training for the secretary, for the cloud, whoever. The third one, end user training, is very appropriate for you. The last one, coffee in the cloud. It is a very specific channel in the YouTube. It is developed by Microsoft. We will share a lot of very deep dive technical information about the Teams. Just like what I'm talking about, the calling capability in Microsoft Teams. If you want to learn more, if you want to implement in your office, you can go to the coffee in the cloud. We have a lot of training, particularly on this area, okay? And then this deep coffee in the cloud, I would highly recommend for the people, they want to know more deep in the Microsoft Teams, okay? It is all my section for the Teams regarding about the new features. The second, I would like to talk about audio conference. The reason for me to pick up the audio conference is because on the daily engagement with the customer and partner, I always come across a question. They will ask me, when I receive a meeting from maybe, let's say from Microsoft, I always see that there is a phone number right here. You can see that a phone number right here. What is it? But I'm also using Teams, but I don't have these features. Why there is a difference between, the Microsoft Teams tenant and also the tenant that I'm using on, the daily purpose? Because we have a feature called audio conference. Audio conference, basically, it is available for the client if they already purchased Office 365 E5 or Microsoft 365 E5. But let's say if I'm using other, the Microsoft Office 365 plan, don't worry. You can also purchase this as an add-on. Don't worry, okay? And then this number, what does it mean? You can see that it is a phone number. It is a dial-in number for the participant to join the call. Instead of click the link to join the Microsoft meeting, they can use their mobile phone or that phone to call this number to join the meeting. Because some of the customers to say that, okay, my participant, their country, the internet connection may not be very good enough to have a video call. But instead, they want to prefer to join the call by using the phone number. This is what we call the audio conference capability can fulfill this requirement. Okay, and then you can also dial out this number to get connect with the participant as well. And then for the audio conference, and then I need to talk about a bit more detail about the licensing and also the capability. As I mentioned before, Office 365 E5, Microsoft 365 E5 already include the audio conference. Okay, and then when you create a meeting, you will have a phone number right here. Okay, and then we support a lot of different countries that they can leverage this kind of the dial-in capability to join the con call. Okay, we have about 40-something countries for already. We Microsoft provide what we call the conferencing bridge. They can just use about the phone number and then to call in and then to join the meeting. Okay, that's why the attendee can dial in to the call. And also, we can also dial out to the attendees. But remember, we have some talking about the Zone A country support about this capability. And then you may have a question, what is the meaning of the Zone A country? Don't worry, in this slide, you can click the link right here, and then you can find more details about what is the Zone A country. But I can tell you, very popular, let's say maybe in US, UK, a lot of Europe country, and even Asia, like Singapore, Malaysia, they already fall into the Zone A country. Most of them, they can use about the audio conference to join the call through the phone number. How about for the country that are not under the Zone A country list? Don't worry, we also have what we call the communication credit. It is about another, item they can purchase. I can purchase this kind of the communication credit for those customers. They are not under, the Zone A country, but they can still and then use the communication credit to join the call. Okay. Now let me tell you more about, the communication credit and how we charge about to the customer. Okay. For the customer, they already have the audio conference. Basically, we already give you a 60 minutes per user per month about, as the credit for the customer to dial out the conference. Remember the dial out. If they dial in, okay, there's no limit. But for the dial out, 60 minutes per user per month, okay? And then they can also join not through the, the traditional Microsoft licensing offer. They can also go to the website to subscribe, the offer like about the pay as you go. They can use their credit card and to pay us, and then they can also enjoy about the benefit of the audio conference. And then for the last question, what I want to tell you is about what kind of the 365 service that are eligible for the audio conference add-on. As I mentioned before, I hope you remember, Office 365 E5, Microsoft 365 E5 already include the audio conference. That means I don't need to pay any extra for the audio conference capability. But if let's say I'm using, Office 365 Business, Office 365 Business Essential, this kind of the other, the Office 365 plan, can I purchase the audio conference? The answer is yes. Okay, the answer is yes. Okay, this is the link that you can direct you to the web page. This is the online documentation. We will list out what kind of the extra service as an add-on available to different Office 365 plan, including the audio conference. And then you can get all those information by clicking this link, and then you can have a look about the online documentation, and then you can get the answer. Okay, now I would like to share one of the very common questions recently that I get frequent, inquiry from both customer and partner. They ask us about how can we compare about the teams with other, the conferencing client. Okay, the first I would like to give you some highlights. What kind of the recognition that we can get from teams, from the market. In this slide, I would like to highlight 3 areas from different partners through their the evaluation. On the left-hand side is a Forrester. Okay, Forrester actually is a third-party consulting firm. They will do a lot of evaluation of the IT technology and solution. Okay, in here they try to have some kinds of the evaluation on the unified communication as a service. Okay, Microsoft solution, that means it's a Teams. We already fall under the leader quadrant, you can see right here. Okay, in the middle one, it is from Gartner. Okay, Gartner Magic Quadrant, I think some of you may already aware of this, okay? Gartner Magic Quadrant also have a unified communication as a service evaluation. Likewise, to the, the Forrester, Microsoft is also under the leader quadrant as well. The last but not the least, also from the Gartner Magic Quadrant is talking about the meetings. Again, Microsoft is also under the leader. From this information, the first, I will give you a confidence about, Teams has a very strong recognition from the markets as the communication, the client, comparing with the others. You can see in here. And then the dates you may doubt about, when you have this kind of the evaluation back to the 2019. Okay. Now, if you have this kind of the idea in your mind, let's say, what kind of the capability that you are very different comparing with the other third-party vendor? The first, I would like to talk to you about, the corporate governance support. It is a very, very common question from the customer. During the communication, whatever they take, maybe it is a message. Maybe I try to share the files. What they want is to make sure that the corporate has a control right here. The control means I can capture all the conversation. I can control what file that you can share with external. In here, because Teams has tightly integrated with the Office 365, we already provide a very strong security control, full information protection, through data loss prevention, and also we also have the Office 365 ATP integration. That means even though when you receive a file from external party, 365 ATP will help you to scan through those files or hyperlink to see whether they are malicious or not. If yes, okay, we will block it. So don't worry on this part. Even I have this kind of the collaboration tools in my environment. Will I open the door? Will I more easily to get infected under the current cybersecurity challenge? Don't worry. Teams already take care on this part. The second is a very common feature, talking about the meeting recording. Just very easy. When we do the the Teams meeting, we can just click record and then it can record. Okay. But when you have a look about the third-party offer, the recording is not as a free for the customer. Customer, they need to purchase some kinds of the add-on in order to start the recording for the third party. But for Teams, it's already built in. The third is talking about the tight integration. As I mentioned, we have very strong tight integration with the Office 365 family, not just only Word, Excel, PowerPoint. We also have a very powerful application that is called Power Apps. You can write whatever LOB application through the Power Apps and then integrate into the Microsoft Teams. We also have a planning tool called Microsoft Planner. You can also integrate the Planner with the Microsoft Teams. So that means Teams is really a collaboration client, not just only focus on the meeting, on the conference. We also take care from the application perspective, make sure that the customer can easily access the information they want. Okay. This part is talking about the strong extensibility that I already covered. You can write down whatever application that you want, and you can also go to the Teams store to install some extra application in order to enhance the capability of the Teams. The last but not the least is talking about the third-party hardware support. We also have a very strong third-party hardware support, okay, to provide the desk phone and the other conferencing device. So all of these are the very clear differentiation when you comparing with the other, the third-party collaboration tools. And also, the previous slide also gives you a very strong confidence about the market recognition. Teams is really strong in the market right now. As I've mentioned in the first slide, on daily purpose, we already get 20 million daily active users. Also, we also have 200K organizations worldwide already adopt Teams. So it is really a time, if you're still not using Teams, it's time for you to start to get into the Teams to get more understanding. Okay? Now, let me turn into the other part talking about the security. Right now, we already have the, all the collaboration capability provided by Teams. But when we consider to use about whatever application, we also need to put security in the top priority when we consider. How can we leverage about the security to make sure that my environment is much more secure and can defend whatever attack from the outside, or maybe the attack from the inside as well. Okay. First of all, I would like to give you some highlight about, again, the market recognition from the Microsoft security offer. Because most of the customer and partner, they will also have in mind about, oh, Microsoft, you have a very, a popular application like Microsoft Windows, Microsoft Office, or maybe in the past, you also have the Microsoft Server product like Windows Server, Exchange Server, SQL Server, SharePoint Server, whatever. But there's no any security product, which I just mentioned. So the customer and partner will always in their mind is your security good enough? Is your security tools is just a toys? Let's have a look about the third-party evaluation on our solution. Again, all this slide is talking about the Gartner Magic Quadrant. In this slide, I will have 5 different aspects to cover the security solution offer from Microsoft. Okay, the first on the left-hand side, talking about the endpoint protection platform. The endpoint protection platform, talking about the defense against the virus, malware, ransomware. It is what the market say. It is talking about the EPP. Okay, EPP solution. Okay, Microsoft is already in the leader quadrant. You can see right here, very top leader quadrant. The right-hand side is talking about the access management. Access management, that is your identity. Remember, right now, identity, your own identity is very, very important. The hacker will try to steal your identity, like your login username, your password, and can try to pretend yourself to do something that you don't want. Okay, for example, to go to the bank, to log in based on your credential, and then to get your money. Or go to your network to pretend yourself and then to steal your corporate data. Okay, so the identity is really, really, really important. How can we protect your identity within your corporate environment and also outside your corporate environment? From Gartner evaluation, again, Microsoft is already in the leader quadrant as well. And then let's have a look about the next slide, talking about the first, unified endpoint management. Unified endpoint management, talking about how can I manage my mobile device, including maybe iOS, including Android, Windows PC, or even Mac machine. Microsoft, you can see, we are already in the top leader quadrant. And then this one, maybe you are not really aware about what it is. It is called Cloud Asset Security Broker. In short, we name it CASP. CASP, okay? And then what it provides, actually in the corporate environment, it is a heterogeneous environment. What does it mean? It means that I'm not just only use about the Microsoft application. I may also use some third-party SaaS application, maybe like about the Workday, maybe other cloud storage, and so on and so forth, okay? But I still want to have a control, not just only the Microsoft application. You have very strong application control on the Microsoft 365, okay? But I also want to extend this control into other third-party application. Microsoft, we have a feature, it's called CASP, Cloud Asset Security Broker. We can help you to control, let's say, the usage behavior on access those applications. For example, I'm using Workday, but I don't want the user to download the data, to copy the data into their own, the personal cloud storage. But it is not Microsoft application, okay? And then through the CASP control, you can set up some kinds of the policy and then to configure it to block those, the usage behavior. Again, Microsoft is classified in the leader quadrant. The last one is all about the information archiving. Archiving, that means I have tons of the data. I want to archive them and then put in a secure space and then to set, the security control, okay, to meet whatever compliance requirement that I need to face. Microsoft, again, leader in this measurement. So these 5 different aspects is already give you a strong evidence. Microsoft security offer is already have a very strong market recognition by the third party, not just only by Microsoft. But you may ask, and then this is about the link for all those kind of the Gartner Magic Quadrant. You can have a look from right here and then get more information. And then you may ask, how about the email? I haven't mentioned about the email security based on all different Gartner Magic Quadrant. But I can tell you, in here under Gartner Magic Quadrant, in the past they have something called secure email gateway, but it is retired. And then you can click this link to get more information from the Gartner website. But back to 215, our email security solution is already under the leader quadrant again in the Gartner evaluation, so that it can really give you a lot of confidence. Microsoft security solution is very strong in terms of different aspects, like the identity control, like the data control, like the device control, or even the application control and email control. So now, I would like to share with you what Microsoft's solution can really help to protect against the current, the cybersecurity attack. The first, I would like to turn on all the animation first. Just a moment. This slide seems to be a little bit, busy, okay, but it is very easy to interpret, okay. Let's start from the left-hand side, On the left-hand side, let's say I have received an email, or maybe I go to the website to browse the website, and then maybe you will open an email that has included an attachment or include a hyperlink. But the hacker may do some work on the attachment or on the hyperlink. When I click it, something happens. What? And then it may inject something into my machine, okay, the malware, the Trojan horse, or the ransomware, whatever, okay? And then if I click the hyperlink, and then maybe I will direct into a website that asks me to input my personal PII information, the login information. Similarly to the website, I will get the same experience. That means the hacker will fool this kind of the endpoint to try to attack your machine. Your machine under infected, and then, okay, the hacker will do some kinds of the control remotely. That means they can issue some kinds of the a command from the remote site, okay, to try to get your login information. And then they can also try to leverage some kinds of the well-known the methodology, what we call the brute force attack, the password spray, in order to get a lot of the login credential within your environment. That means your account will get compromised. After your account gets compromised, okay, they will start the lateral movement. That means it not just only affect you. They will leverage your credential to log in and pretend you, and then to start another, the attack to your colleagues, okay? Until your domain controller, the enterprise admin, get compromised. That means I can also get the enterprise admin login credential, the login name, and then the password. Then the whole network within your environment will turn into what we call the zombie network. The zombie network, that means it's all under control by the hacker. Then they can do whatever they want. They can get all the data from your environment. They can try to steal your domain, try to pretend you to send out a domain to external customer, and then this is what we call the spoofing attack. If you also have the data, not just only on the on-premises environment, you may also consider I will upload the data. Right now I will use the cloud. They can also access all your data in the cloud. It is very typical scenario for the current, the hacker. They will try to attack the customer environment. And then how Microsoft can protect against this kind of the attack. To make the long story short, we have different components, okay, to address different needs. In this slide, you can see that we have something called Office 365 ATP to keep track of about the email, the website, or maybe even the document. And we also have the Microsoft Defender ATP to take care about the EDR and EPP on your device. The device can be Windows device, but can also be, let's say, the iOS, Android, and Mac machine, okay? We also, on the on-premises environment, we have something called Azure ATP and Azure Information Protection to safeguard, to monitor about the usage behavior within your environment, and then to have some kinds of the security policy and configuration to safeguard your data. You can protect the data based on the permission, based on your company regulation, okay? And then do not allow them to copy and share to external. We also have the other features called Azure AD Identity Protection to try to evaluate your environment to see whether the user using a very weak password. If we identify it, and then we can force them to change the password or maybe even enforce to use the MFA, the multi-factor authentication. Of course, as I mentioned before, we also have the cloud app security. The cloud app security will help you to safeguard your cloud environment, whatever the application is from Microsoft or non-Microsoft. Don't worry, we also have this kind of the control in place. So in this slide, you can see that we will have a different component to address different needs. But then you may have a question in your mind. It is very similar to the third party. It's just like I have a vendor A, vendor B, vendor C, vendor D, vendor E, whatever solution in different areas. But the key difference for Microsoft comparing with them is about they are not work in silos. What it means, they all integrate together. We will leverage something called the Security Graph API. The Security Graph API can help to share the security information from one component to the other component in order to protect your whole environment. It is the key difference comparing with the third-party solution. So that means if I detect something from the email, Office 365 ATP is already detected, and then I can share this information immediately to Defender ATP. And then Defender ATP can also share the signal to the Azure ATP to monitor this user behavior within your corporate environment. But if you're using third party, they all work as a standalone. It is hard for you to correlate them together, okay? And then if something happens, you want to have a report, and then to keep trace about, the journey of the attack. Microsoft will provide a single, portal, and then you can get the report immediately. But for the third-party vendor, you need to generate the report from different vendors and then try to correlate by yourself. So it is quite hard. Okay. Then I would like to talk more about the Defender. The reason for me to talk about Defender because I get the very common feedback from the customer. They're very confused about the Microsoft Defender and the Microsoft Defender ATP. They mix up, they are the same, but actually they are not. Let me ruffle a bit more detail right here. Microsoft Defender actually is built on Microsoft Windows 10. It is already included. So that means when you buy a machine with the Microsoft Windows 10, the Defender is already in place. You just turn it on, done. You don't need to purchase any third-party antivirus vendor because we already provide the features for you. But I'm sure you will in your mind to see, I always use the third-party antivirus solution. I don't believe your Defender will have the same capability like the others, okay? Then let me tell you. Again, go back to the third-party evaluation, not just only from Microsoft. av-test.org is a third-party organization. They will do a lot of antivirus solution evaluation. They will keep on updating about, the evaluation. Back to 219 July-August report. Windows Defender ATP, in terms of the capability, in terms of the features, we already in par with the third-party solution. So that you just purchase it, the Windows machine, and then turn it on. That's it. You don't need to purchase any other, the third-party antivirus vendor. And then what is the difference between, the Windows Defender and the Defender ATP? And then this slide will tell you about the difference. You can see in here, the first part is called pre-breach. Pre-breach. The last part is called post-breach. Okay. Defender will already in here to help you to take care your device or against the malware, ransomware, whatever. Okay. Because we have a lot of capability built in. Okay. But how about post-breach? What's the meaning of post-breach? Post-breach means right now I have a problem. I want to have a detailed analysis. I want to have much more, in deep, like about the forensic analysis to understand about the whole attack journey. And then this is all about the post-breach. Windows Defender ATP will under this area, okay? And then it will also integrate with the Defender antivirus as well, so that they can work tight together. That means when I get something happen in the environment, I can immediately take the action against the attack, okay? I can also understand the attack pattern. Where does it come from? When will happen? Okay, what machine get infected? Who user will get, the compromise? All this kind of the report I can get from the Defender ATP. It is about a sample report that you can get from the Microsoft Defender ATP portal. It is called Defender Security Center. Defender Security Center will keep track about the whole attack journey, and then if you want to know, and then you can click the icon, and then you can get more understanding about the attack, the behavior. And it is a video that I would like to give you some kinds of the idea about what Defender ATP can provide. In this video, you can see that I go to the Security Center, and then I can click it, the incident graph, and then I can find, this file is some kind of the problem. And then I can stop it, and then to quarantine it, okay? I can also do some other, behavior. This is the current machine. That means I can immediately to stop about, this kind of the problematic file. And then I can add some file to block. That means I can put them into a bad list, so that they can no longer and can do some kinds of the action in the client machine. All can be done in the security center. I can also quarantine the machine to isolate the machine within my environment to make my environment more safe. Again, in the Defender ATP, you can also do it. In the current machine, if this is under the quarantine, you can see that I can't go to the website and then to do whatever I want, okay? It is the capability that the Defender ATP can provide. Now, I hope you can have some kinds of the understanding regarding about the difference between the Defender and then the Defender ATP. If you want to know more, I will recommend some kinds of the online resource to you. The first, it is about the online documentation about the Defender ATP. The second, I highly, highly, highly recommend you to go, because it is about the video. Our corporate team just complete it on the second week of March. It is a new website that it will list out all the Defender capability and also have some short and crispy video that you can understand about the features of it as well. And then if you want to know more about the new capability in the Defender, and then you want to keep update about the capability, the third one, it is about the website again. You can go to learn more about the new features in the Defender ATP. Thank you very much for your time to attend my session to walk through about the Microsoft 365 update. I hope right now you can understand about the productivity and security part from Microsoft 365. And remember, go to the chat window to type your question, and then I will answer all of you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.